Good afternoon, viewers and listeners of Concerned Citizens Media. Thank you again for joining me. Today is October 20, 2022. I have several news to share with you. I will start with the resistance movement in Mekelle, uh, Tigray region. TDF forces are resisting or attempting to expel the Eritrean Defense Forces, Ethiopian National Defense Forces, and other militias who recently occupied Shire, Alamata, Korem cities. So the resistance continue. There is intensive military engagement, blocking them so that they cannot get out from the area they occupied. So that is current operation, a very heavy military engagement by TDF against those invaders from Eritrea and also from Ethiopian National Defense Forces. The other thing is pro-Abiy Ahmed demonstrators planning to come out in Brussels to oppose European Union decision against Eritrea and against uh, uh, Ethiopia. Also, this group protesting TDF against TDF. So they are planning in protesting, try to protest. These are no more group, pro-Abiy, pro-Eritrean, and they are, calling against European Union, US, for a peaceful engagement. So they don't want any sanctions, any tough measure against Eritrea, against Abiy Ahmed, or against Fano militia. So they are coming out today. They are planning to come out to protest against European Union in Brussels. That's the update. And if I have the video, I will bring it next time. The other thing is this yesterday, I think the Oromo community at home and around the world lost a renowned uh, religious scholar, Sheik Adam Tuula, who passed away at age 110. That's according to the information I have. So this Sheikh is very, very intellectual. Uh, he created an institution so that uh, students can join from all over Oromia to get religious teachings and other knowledge from him. So he was, according to the information, he was created an institution in Eastern Hararghe. I think it's in Red Ayara. So it's like an institution, like a university under his name. And so students come and learn knowledge from him. So he's also against the Oromo, against the government, who challenged him, who tried to force him to flee the country, but he resisted. He fought against the regime, especially the Derg regime. He suffered just like other religious scholars. He suffered atrocities under different government. But he is also, a fighter for Oromo causes. Uh, so he was, his funeral service was celebrated with a great, dignitaries, uh, politicians, his former student, current student, various religious scholars, families, friends attended his funeral services. But, so he was celebrated. He was sorry for the interruption. So he was celebrated, and he did a great service for the religious community and also for the Oromo community. So we, concerned citizens media, express sadness on the passing of this religious scholar Sheik Adam Tuula, and we wish, I wish comfort and strength for all family members, friends who have suffered. Sorry again. So we wish strength and comfort for the families, friends, and all impacted by the passing of Sheikh Adam Tuula. And we said, rest in peace. So saying that, then I continue to WHO Director Dr. Tedros Adhanom urgent call for the situation in Tigray region. I will start with that one. Then I will continue with, again, the UK Prime Minister resigning because of the pressure. Let's listen to these videos, then continue with reading. And I have also 3 more videos I selected from different media. Thank you again for joining me. Let's listen.
Other situation globally in which 6 million people have been kept under siege for almost 2 years. Banking, fuel, food, electricity, and healthcare are being used as weapons of war. Media also is not allowed, and every distraction of the civilians is done in darkness. Even people who have money are starving because they can't access their bank for 2 years. Children are dying every day from malnutrition. There are no services for tuberculosis, HIV, diabetes, hypertension, and more. Those diseases which are treatable elsewhere are now a death sentence in Tigray. My job is to draw the world's attention to crises that threaten the health of people wherever they are. This is a health crisis for 6 million people, and the world is not paying enough attention. I urge the international community and the media to give this crisis the attention it deserves. There is a very narrow window now to prevent genocide. I repeat, there is a very narrow window now to prevent genocide in Tigray.
She's coming out, let's listen in.
Okay, that's Prime Minister of UK resigning.
I came into office at a time of great economic and international instability. Families and businesses were worried about how to pay their bills. Putin's illegal war in Ukraine threatens the security of our whole continent, and our country has been held back for too long by low economic growth. I was elected by the Conservative Party with a mandate to change this. We delivered on energy bills and on cutting national insurance. And we set out a vision for a low-tax, high-growth economy that would take advantage of the freedoms of Brexit. I recognise, though, given the situation, I cannot deliver the mandate on which I was elected by the Conservative Party. I have therefore spoken to His Majesty the King to notify him that I am resigning as leader of the Conservative Party. This morning I met the chairman of the 1922 committee, Sir Graham Brady. We've agreed that there will be a leadership election to be completed within the next week. This will ensure that we remain on a path to deliver our fiscal plans and maintain our country's economic stability and national security. I will remain as Prime Minister until a successor has been chosen. Thank you.
Okay.
Why are you so bad? Do I look like this?
If I would have used kayak to book our car, we could have saved.
The Department of Energy will release another.
Okay. I'll come back to Biden's statement on releasing oil from reserve to stabilize the price. So that's the first one is WHO, World Health Organization Director, Dr. Tedros Adhanom, urgent call for international community to act to prevent genocide in Tigray. I hope they will listen to him and act quickly, not expressing concern, but serious action. The second one is Prime Minister of UK, Liz Truss, resigning because of her economic plan created uprising in the parliament, so she couldn't survive. Pressure from different MEPs, even resigning Home Secretary. Then she gave up. But what I want you to see is what is happening in Ethiopia. In UK, just she presented a plan, and they disagree on the plan. They didn't like her plan. They push her out. Nobody died. Nobody injured. The country's money never spent. Nobody purchased drones, airplanes, or any military hardware to kill UK citizens. Nothing happened. Just disagreement on economic plan. When you compare to this, the current situation in Ethiopia under Abiy Ahmed leadership, Prosperity Party, what is happening? Here are some of the list. About 13 million school children are not getting education or impacted by war. About 13 million children. Millions displaced from their homes and from their properties. Millions. Thousands dead. Thousands and thousands civilians and soldiers. Nobody knows the number because independent media are not allowed to report on this war. And also lawlessness, common, very common all over the country. So no accountability for graphic killings of civilians, even the burning of the bodies, and also the chopping of legs, hands, and heads under his leadership, under Prosperity Party leadership. No accountability at all. And so many reported assassinations. And you don't know who is killing Ethiopians. So we just, extremely, also the government is untrustworthy, extremely lying to Ethiopians, lying to the global communities. High inflation in the country. People are challenged. Very hard to live in Ethiopia. Isolated from global community. Ethiopia isolated, except some connection with China, Russia, Turkey, or some Arab countries. Extreme discontent, hate among different ethnicities in Ethiopia, and since he came to power, no freedom of expression, no freedom of assembly, and continued bloody war for almost 2+ years in Tigray, and for more than that in Oromia, especially in Wallagga and Guji zone. So these are when you compare these problems, what happened to UK is just extremely apart. Very big difference, huge difference. As I said, nobody died, nobody injured, nobody by drones, nobody by airplanes, military hardwares to kill UK citizens. But Abiy Ahmed is spending the country's money to buy weapons and to kill his own citizens. And all the problems I mentioned under his leadership. What the Ethiopians parliament do? Nothing. Silent. What Ethiopians are doing? Silent. They have the right to remove him. They have the right to challenge him. Like the one time, I think last time, Minister of Youth and the Woman resigned, the Somalian lady. That is, very encouraging, but the others didn't follow. That's why we are seeing failed leadership continue under Abiy Ahmed leadership. The parliament, they have to act. They have to resist his leadership, his failed leadership. They have to call upon him to resign. And instead of just being silent, and the problem continue, and more trouble, more problems for Ethiopians, and more disintegration, more death and destruction under his leadership. Okay, that's then let's continue reading other news. Then I'll come to these videos. Okay, if this is true, which is good, proposed AU peace talks to take place on 24 October in South Africa. This is from Ethiopian government. Ambassador Ridwan Hussein, National Security Advisor to Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed, said that the African Union Commission has informed us that the peace talks is set for 24 October 2022 to be held in South Africa. It's a very short time window. I don't think it's going to be successful, but we'll see. Very short time. Today is 20. Within 4 days, that's doomed to fail, according to me. Very short time. This is the second attempt by the Continental Organization to organize peace talks in South Africa in as many weeks. In a letter dated October 1st and sent to Debretsion Gabramikael, PhD, President of Tigray Regional State, inviting him to peace talks scheduled to take place in South Africa from 8 October 2022, erroneously mentioned as Sunday. Both the federal government and the Tigray Regional State said they accepted the invitation. However, news reports soon emerged that the talks have been delayed due to logistical issues. Uncertainties further clouded the plan. when former Kenyan President Uhuru Kenyatta, who was named as one of the two panelists for the peace talks process, said he was unable to avail himself and said he would be grateful to receive further clarity on the structure and the modalities of the talks, including but not limited to the rules of engagement for all interlocutors invited. Ambassador Ridwan said this morning that the federal government has reconfirmed our commitment to participate. However, he expressed dismay at unnamed entities that some are bent on preempting the peace talks and spreading false allegations against the defensive measures. The AU has not released details of the scheduled talks. Credit Addis Standard. So it's within 4 days. You think it's gonna be successful? The Tigrayans delegation should be invited, and all the logistical issues should be facilitated within 4 days. We'll see. I hope it will be successful, but that's the situation. Benishangul Gumuz and the Benishangul Gumuz regional government rebel signed peace agreement. The Benishangul Gumuz Regional Government Communication Bureau said the regional government and the Gumuz People's Democratic Movement GPDM, a rebel group military active in the region, signed a peace agreement today, I think yesterday, to resolve their difference through dialogue. Okay. The peace agreement was signed by the president of Benishangul Gumuz regional state, Ashadli Hassan, and the chairman of the GPDM, Gran Gudeta, at program held in Asosa, the region's capital city. Ashadi said that the agreement reached was based on dialogue that look into consideration and respect to the constitution. The chairman of GPDM, Gran Gudeta, on his part expressed his satisfaction with the agreement reached and said the rebel group was committed to discharge its part to make a dialogue-based development a reality. He has called on all to cooperate so that the peace agreement can be brought on the ground to bring concrete results for the peace of the region, the Communication Bureau said. Present at the event was Major General Amde, coordinator of Benishangul Gumuz Region Defense Force Command Post of the Defense, according to the Communication Bureau. In addition, regional and zonal senior leaders and the local elders, including the regional state deputy president Getahun Abdisa, the deputy speaker of the regional state council Alamnesh Yibas, and the head of the regional state prosperity party office Ishaq Abdul Qadir, witnessed the signing of the agreement. In May last year, a memorandum of understanding MOU was signed between the Benishangul Gumuz regional state government and an unnamed armed group, which would see members of the latter take as leadership position in the region, acquire urban and rural land, as well as receive credit facilities, including for women, with a stated goal of solving the security crisis in the region sustainably. Among the points included in the MOU were for members of the armed group, based on their education levels, to be assigned in place of leadership in regional, zonal, and Warada levels. Accordingly, 2 regional, 3 zonal, and 4 Warada level positions will be made available to the members of the unnamed armed group. In addition, urban plot for housing and rural land for farming will be made available to the members of the armed group cooperative scheme, which will include women as well as career opportunities based on prior experience, including job opportunities in the region's security sector, and the loan facilities will also be made available. Okay. In March this year, however, an attack by armed militants claimed the lives of at least 20 civilians when a public bus traveling from Matakel to Gubba was ambushed. Dozens more were also injured. Officials blamed the attack on unnamed anti-peace forces infiltrating through Sudan and had carried out similar attacks on civilians in the past. In recent months, however, efforts were being exerted by local community members, especially in Matakel, the region's violence-ravaged zone, to bring reconciliation and aid the escalation of violence since 2020 that had resulted in mass displacements, indiscriminate killings, and property damage. Again, credit for Addis Standard. This is in Oromia. Government security forces kill member of Karayu Gada leaders, abducted 5 others in East Shoa zone of Oromia. This is again another tragedy. Government security forces have killed Boru Roba, a respected member of the Karayu Gada leaders, and abducted his brother and sister along with 2 other individuals in Fantale, East Shoa zone of Oromia regional state. According to multiple sources in the area who spoke to Addis Standard, the killing and abduction took place on Saturday, 15 October. The security forces came to his Boru Roba residence in Tuti village at a specific place called Bomisa in Fantale district on Saturday morning at around 10 a.m. local time. They took him away and killed him. He was killed not far away from his residence. They let him lie down and shot him in the head in public view. He died immediately, an eyewitness who asked to be anonymous said. The security forces have also abducted the brother and the sister of Boru Roba and 2 others, according to the witness. After security forces killed Boru Roba, they took away his brother and sister and 2 others to nearby militia camp, which is located in Gidara village, the witness added. Another informant who also spoke to Addis Standard said that there was an active military operation in the area to hunt down members of the Oromo Liberation Army, OLA, commonly referred to as Shane by the government. The Ethiopian parliament has labeled OLA as terrorist group along the TPLF, a party ruling the northern Tigray regional state. According to the witnesses, the military operation being carried out has raised tension among the local community, and the movements are restricted in the area. Civilians in area where militarized hostilities between the government and OLA forces take place are often subjected to killings and detention as they face government accusation of supporting or hiding armed groups. It has been 3 days now since business activities have been restricted, and traveling to and from towns has become impossible. The majority of the residents have fled their homes to the nearby bushes, one resident said. Security forces composed of the National Defense Forces, Oromia Special Force, and the militia are operating in villages including Gidara, Tutti, and Toro Bedenno in Fentalle district. Houses have been looted and burned, cattle confiscated, and the people, including the elderly and the women, are harshly beaten in this village, according to the residents. There are also reports of killings of 2 other unnamed men in Gidara village. Local government officials were unavailable to comment on this allegation. But the government has previously denied similar accusations, saying that its force do not deliberately target civilians. In December last year, 14 prominent members of the Karayu-Gada leadership were summarily executed in the same locality on the occasion of prayer ceremony. The federal and Oromia regional governments initially blamed the killings on OLA, which denied involvement from the get-go. Later on, a report by the state's Ethiopian Human Rights Commission revealed that the killings were carried out by members of the government security forces and that there were reasonable grounds to believe that it constituted extrajudicial killings. Credit again at this standard. So we appreciate at this standard for reporting on the atrocities, the killings carried out, especially in Oromia zone, in Oromia region. They killed 14 Abagada leaders last time. No one was accounted for, so they came back again, continue their killing. That's why I say accountability is lacking under Abiy Ahmed leadership. That's why we call upon him to resign, and also the parliament to be active instead of just being passive and collecting the salary. The country is collapsing while they are sitting there and clapping their hands for Abiy Ahmed and for those prosperity party. He failed the country. No accountability at all. And today, I think drone attack also reported in the West Shoa zone in Metawalkiti area, and 14 civilians killed by these drones. So who is responsible? The government. But who can ask it? You can just use drones, buy drones, and to destroy civilians and destroy civilian structures without any accountability. So the killing continues, the atrocities continues as long as this leadership remains in power in Ethiopia. This is a statement from President Joe Biden on the resignation of Prime Minister Liz Truss of the United Kingdom. The United States and the United Kingdom are strong allies and enduring friends, and that fact will never change. I thank Prime Minister Liz Truss for her partnership on a range of issues, including holding Russia accountable for its war against Ukraine. We will continue our close cooperation with the UK government as we work together to meet the global challenges our nation faces. So that's from White House on the resignation of UK Prime Minister Liz Truss. Nothing happened, as I said, but disagreement on an economic plan, she resigned. Ethiopia, so many problems I mentioned, and more problems under Abiy Ahmed leadership. But MEPs, they are silent. Ethiopians are silent. We will continue the crime, more deaths and destruction, more hate among Ethiopians, and more graphic killings will continue. And the bloody war will continue under Abiy Ahmed leadership. Because no challenge. Nobody asked him to resign. Nobody challenged him. Your leadership is failed. You need to resign and go to jail, really. This is on a Russia acquisition of unmanned aerial vehicle or drones from Iran. This is from U.S. State Department. The United States joined the United Kingdom and France in raising the issue of Iran's transfer of unmanned aerial vehicle to Russia at a meeting of the UN Security Council, where Council members received expert briefing from the UN Secretariat report. The transfer of these dangerous weapons. We expressed our grave concern about Russia acquisition of these UAVs from Iran in violation of UN Security Council Resolution 2231. The United States began warning in July that Iran was planning to transfer UAVs to Russia for use in Russia's brutal war against Ukraine, and we now have abundant evidence that these UAVs are being used to strike Ukrainian civilians and the critical civilian infrastructure. As Iran continues to lie and deny providing weapons to Russia for use in Ukraine, we are committed to working with allies and partners to prevent the transfer of dangerous weapons to Russia. We will not hesitate to use our sanctions and other appropriate tools on all involved in this transfer. We will also continue to surge unprecedented security assistance to Ukraine, including air defense capabilities, so that Ukraine can defend itself from these weapons. Okay, that's all I have for today on reading. Let's listen to Biden on releasing oil from reserve to stabilize the price, and continue from there.
15 million barrels from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, extending our previously announced release through the month of December. Independent analysts have confirmed that drawdowns from the reserve so far have played a big role in bringing down oil prices, bringing them down. So we're going to continue to responsibly use that national asset. Right now, the Strategic Petroleum Reserve is more than half full, with about 400 million barrels of oil. That's more than enough for any emergency drawdown. With my announcement today, we're going to continue to stabilize markets and decrease the prices at a time when the actions of other countries have caused such volatility. And I've told my team behind me here to be prepared to look for further releases in the months ahead if needed. We're calling it a ready and release plan. This allows us to move quickly to prevent oil price spikes and respond to international events.
Okay, one more, I think. One or two more.
Dependable people need dependable vehicles. So we built the most dependable ones out there, with available all-wheel drive and a #1 ranking in dependability from J.D. Power. Kia, movement that inspires.
At least 30 people were killed Thursday when police clashed with demonstrators in the Chadian capital during a banned protest against the ruling military.
Okay. 30
Hundreds
people,
of demonstrators
30
turned out to
protesters
mark the
killed in
date when the
Chad.
military had initially promised to hand over power, a spell that has been extended for another 2 years. Chad's main opposition leader, Success Masri, on Twitter condemned the killings, with some quarters accusing France of its involvement. In a tweet, he said, "They are shooting at us. They are killing our people." Soldiers of the only general who refused to honor his word, and today marks the end of the 18-month transition. This is how he intends to set up a dynasty, by killing the nation. France also distanced itself from these allegations of involvement on Twitter by issuing a statement. It read in part, "Violence occurred this morning in Chad, including the use of lethal weapons against demonstrators, which France condemns. The false information about France's alleged involvement is unfounded. These clashes are taking place after the extension of the transition for 2 years, which was supposed to end on Thursday, October 20th. But at the end of September, Mahamat Idris Deby Itno was finally maintained as president until free and democratic elections, which are supposed to be held at the end of the second transition period, in which Mr. Deby will be able to run. The 37-year-old General President Mahamat Idris Deby took over power on April 20, 2021, following the death of Marshal Deby, who was killed by rebels on his way to the forefront.
The Deputy President and General Secretary of Ethiopia's Prosperity Party has sent his congratulatory message on the convening of the 20th National Congress of the Communist Party of China. Adam Farah expressed confidence in China's development under the leadership of the CPC, with Xi Jinping
praising China system, praising
For the
China.
last 10 years, the CPC, with His Excellency Mr. Xi Jinping at its core, has led China to a high innovation-based quality development. It has lifted large numbers of people out of poverty. It has opened a new positive prospect for the whole world. It has initiated and implemented the Belt and the Road Initiative, which is one of the most impressive foreign policy initiatives of the 21st century. It has properly managed the response activities of COVID-19. It has resisted foreign interferences. It has properly responded to the global risks and the challenges. The party has strengthened the internal unity of the party. CPC has strengthened the unity of the Chinese people. Moreover, the CPC has shown great respect for other countries' sovereignty, territorial integrity, and it has insisted on its principled position of non-interference to the domestic issues of other countries.
Okay, so those are the videos I selected for you for today. Thank you for joining me again. So that's Ethiopia's argument in supporting standing with China. He said non-interference. That means allowing Ethiopia to continue the bloody war, regardless of the destruction, regardless of the deaths of soldiers and the civilians, those young generation, hope, the hope of that country dying, 16, 15, and sometimes 13. So that's he talking about in non-interference, the blocking UN resolution at UN Security Council meeting, Russia and China. That's it. They have to praise, because they are helping them not to be accounted for what they did to Ethiopians. So that's the situation. And let me conclude. Ethiopians, those parliament members, those soldiers, police, all other concerned citizens in Ethiopia, they should demand the prime minister to resign. They should force him out. The country is dying. Ethiopians are killing each other. The bloody war continue. Inflation is continue. The country is isolated. Nothing good news. Nothing good under his leadership. So they should end their silence, and the international community, they should also do tangible actions. They should take tangible actions instead of expression of concerns. So that should end. Expression of concern will not help to end the civil war in Ethiopia. So that is my message for today. Thank you for joining me. I will be back with other news and updates. So long and be safe, everyone.